government to build police camp base at Isofia Greater Council area. Building collapse claims 3 lives at Nnewi. Federal government calls for collective efforts towards school security. And on the foreign scene, Australia to send more police to Solomon Island to boost security. Before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwu Masaludo has come for a total turnaround, maintenance of the Anambra State economy, and the promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Welcome to the news at 7. My name is Chidimma Orangwa. Anambra State government has commenced the construction of police camp base at Isofia in Agwata local government area as part of measures to boost security in the state. The State Commissioner for Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Polly Onyeka, disclosed this while speaking with a journalist in Oka. Correspondent Chukwuemeka Modelim tells us more.
Onyeka explained that the project, which will be completed before Christmas, is part of state government efforts to safeguard the lives and properties of Anambra, as well as to ensure that the state is safe for trade and investment. Honorable Onyeka, who restated the commitment of Anambra State government towards giving the state a facelift, revealed that the Soludo administration is currently refurbishing Enugu, Umweri, and Ekulobia General Hospitals to world-class referral centers, and the projects will be completed in no distant time to meet the health needs of the people. The commissioner also stated the commitment of the state government to complete the gigantic government house and lodge in Oka under construction in no distant time. He noted that the remodeling of Anambra State House of Assembly complex by the present administration is to give the legislature a befitting complex that will facilitate its legislative duties. In Oka, Chukwuemeka Modelim, ABS News.
A builder identified as a Chizoba Adiefuna and 2 students have lost their lives following collapse of a 1-story building with a penthouse at Ebu Umwenem Otolo Nnewi in Nnewi North local government of Anambra State. Joseph Iwacha has details.
So trapped in the building collapse was a relative of the builder who eyewitnesses said was later rescued and rushed to a hospital in Nnewi. When Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, current officials and Transition Committee Chairman of Nnewi North Local Government Area, Mr. Chris Obiora, an engineer, arrived at the scene, manual laborers were seen on rescue mission as excavator brought to rescue the victims broke down at the site. Addressing journalists after the dead bodies were brought out from the debris, the Anambra State Chairman of Mr. Victor Meju, an engineer, explained that poor foundation, poor concrete mixture, poor quality of materials, poor wearing cost capacity, non-conformity to standard, and non-approval from relevant regulatory authorities were part of the issues that led to the avoidable tragedy. He announced seal-off of the building collapse scene, adding that the owner of the building, Mr. Chukwunafu Anamanjo, will be invited for questioning to aid investigation.
What we're going to do is that we're going to set up a panel. We're going to invite the owner of this building for proper interrogation. And then even the whole entire building here may go down. We're going to scrap the whole building here because even this one is ready to fall. If you go behind, you see that they're all ready to move. So please, I want to charge the community to desist from any kind of this kind.
Contributing, the Transition Committee Chairman of Nnewi North Local Government Area, Mr. Obiora, called on people to always make use of certified engineers and other relevant personnel in the building sector, adding that monitoring teams are also important in ensuring that all stick to standard.
They trained engineering personnel, so maybe you just a builder. They came in and they started doing the things the way the crowd knows about. So this is the result. There is every need. Because even the kind of building is supposed to even conduct a soil test. They have a soil report and then which will help the engineer to design this the foundation.
The sectoral head of Koren in charge of Nnewi and environs, Arinzo Okwosa, an engineer, said his team observed a lot of foul plays in the course of carrying out their job, calling for government intervention to forestall future occurrence.
And if I people now bring engineers and now find engineer hello. In our Then for them, but you get a second if I ancestral home. So the thing on your loose so I got me fagame so that could if I got it messy again.
From Ebumuanem Otolo Nnewi in the Nnewi North Local Government Area, Joseph Ebocha reporting for ABS News.
Construction work is still going on at Niger Street, Onitsha. West correspondent Ngozi Obel visited the site and report that construction of drainage channels was ongoing even at the peak of rainy season. Her report.
Niger Street from the Onitsha Bridgehead is a major street to Onitsha main market from the Bridgehead axis. Governor Chukwuma Soludo awarded construction of the road to make access in and out of the road very easy. Not long after, the tech construction company, the firm handling the project, mobilized to site and started with construction of drainages. At the site, ABS observed that construction of drainage has been completed on one side of the road, while work is ongoing on the other side of the road close to main market. Speaking to the ABS, the project supervisor, engineer Zhang Xiaowen, said that they are working hard to ensure that they complete drainage construction on the road in 2 weeks' time and go into earthwork. Engineer Xiaowen said the road, which is 2.18 kilometers in length, has 3 months' time schedule for completion. While explaining that they have enough materials and personnel to deliver the job, he said that the heavy human traffic on the road and rains are their major challenge.
Ready to enough materials to complete the road in 3 months. The challenge is number one, the traffic, the heavy traffic is where everything is very crowded, and then the rubbish is too much, and then the rainy season. This is most challenge now.
The chairman of Freedom Market, Niger Street, Mr. Obiora, and Ikwe said they are very happy with the pace and quality of work being done by the contractor. He thanked Governor Soludo for the gesture, which he said was well appreciated by all the traders and assured them support throughout the construction period. From Niger Street, Onitsha, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
Nebochi Kindred in Abana Ngene village of Amobia community in Oka South local government area has staged a protest against the Nigeria Correctional Services NCS for misappropriating a land that they donated to the federal government of Nigeria. Amobia Custodial Center of the Nigeria Correctional Services, Anambra State Command, is located at Abana Ngene village, Amobia, which according to the protesters was built on a land donated by the forefathers of Nebochi Kindred. We have details.
Was led by the Deputy President General of Amobia Town Union, Nnamdi Onwuzuligbo, and men and youth groups of the Kindred. The protesters stormed the streets of the town and the site of the ongoing construction of Prison Officers' Wife Association, Prowell Shopping Complex, Amobia, that is nearing completion, which is the land under contention. They called on the authority of the NCS to intervene in what they described as the impunity of the state command and asked them to stop work on the site immediately. Addressing journalists, Mr. Onwuzuligbo, who is also the chairman of Nebochi Kindred in Abana Ngene village, said by building a shopping complex on the land, Nigeria Correctional Service has breached the agreement they had with the Kindred as well as the community. He explained that the Kindred has need for the development of community projects but sacrificed the land to the government as their contribution to national development, but pointed out that the sacrifice seemed to have been taken by granted.
It was ceded for a purpose. They gave it to prisons for administrative purpose. We are not contesting that. But today, day by day, we discover that they are building it for a different reason.
He called on the Controller General of NCS, Haliru Nababa, to intervene and hold a roundtable discussion with the people of the community as soon as possible to resolve the impasse. The chairman, Amobia Town Land Committee, Mr. Mowoni Ifeanyi, requested that the service should stop any project that is outside the scope of agreement
by the PG to see the management of prisons and to know why they are building on Amobia land outside the scope of the agreement.
The supervisor of the project, engineer Valentine Chukwuma, promised the protesters that he will relay their message to the Nigeria Correctional Service Authorities, Anambra State Command.
Still on the news at 7 this morning, the federal government restated resolve towards implementing safe school policy for all, especially as it has ratified the Safe School Declaration in December 2019 and developed a safe school policy in furtherance to upholding the right to education in emergency situations. The Minister for State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, gave this assurance at a news conference in Abuja to herald the commemoration of International Day to Protect Education from Attack. Princess Ekuyajide completes the story.
International Day to Protect Education from Attack, an international observance by the United Nations General Assembly established in 2020, is observed annually on September 9. Nigeria will, however, observe this year's celebration on Friday, September 8, 2023. Addressing the press, Dr. Sununu said, "Safety in schools is a collective responsibility, hence government will encourage formal negotiations so that where it cannot provide, it will encourage PTA and relevant institutions to assist, so they only need to agree to a term that is acceptable to all." He said government will encourage a lot of partnerships as part of areas that can bring peace and appreciated the role of PTA in sustaining services in many schools at both local and federal levels. According to him, they will do all they can to block leakages and see how more funds can be made available to schools to ensure that quality education is affordable and acceptable to every Nigerian without decreasing the quality of education. The Minister of State said government will set up a formal negotiation team between the Parent Teacher Association PTA and relevant stakeholders to look into the recent hike in school fees across the country, pointing out that hike in school fees could be the major factor leading to attacks in schools, hence the need to look into the area to avert further attacks.
The ministry has developed and will continue to develop learning centers in internally displaced IDP camps. As part of the National School Safety Response Coordination Team, this is to create awareness on the existence of national policy for safety, security, violence-free schools, especially for states, local government, educational institutions, civil society organizations, the military, and general public to collaborate and operationalize the guidelines that have been already developed.
The activities preceding the International Day to Protect Education from Attack celebration include a playlet, dance, drama, poetic rendition, and a quiz competition, while a presentation by learners is expected to lay emphasis on the need for collaboration and focus on school safety policy for implementation guidance by all stakeholders. In Abuja, Princess Ekuyajide reporting.
And on the foreign scene, Australia has announced plans to send additional police to the Solomon Islands to boost security for the Pacific Games in November, keeping them there until June to assist with the general elections. The extended Australian police presence announced on Sunday comes after the Solomon Islands upgraded ties with China, including by signing a policing agreement in July. Australia, New Zealand, and the United States are concerned the Chinese police could dislodge a long-standing security arrangement Canberra has with the Pacific Island nation. The Solomon Islands said it had visited or invited Australia to extend the police presence, originally due to end in December. Australia's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade agreed to the extension in a statement that described Canberra as the Pacific Island nation's primary security partner. Over to sports now. The Sports Minister John Owen Eno has urged the private sector to support the federal government in a bid to revamp the sector and turn it into a viable contributor to the nation's economy. The minister, who said he is in the sports ministry, to actualize President Bola Tinubu's bid to use the sector to provide opportunity for economic empowerment, job creation, security, and poverty alleviation. Said the dream will only be realized with the support of the organized private sector. Speaking during an interactive session with stakeholders in the sports industry in Lagos, Owaneno said he will continue to consult and collaborate with stakeholders in the sports industry, private and corporate organizations towards the realization of government's objective of repositioning the sector for economic growth and development of our nation. He explained that his charge of sporting facilities across the country is to give him a first-hand knowledge of the state of these facilities and the steps that are best to be taken in order to bring them back to glory. He noted that his focus, in addition, is to ensure the development of sports right from the grassroots. Members of Crusaders Friends Club of Nigeria have joined their General Overseer Chief Nonso Onwa-Mewu and patron Chief Tony Okonkwo to mourn the passage of the former senator who represented Anambra Central Senatorial District at the National Assembly, Senator Annie Okonkwo. The General Overseer of the club, Chief Onwa-Mewu, is a brother-in-law to the deceased, while the patron, Chief Okonkwo, is a younger brother to the former senator. Correspondent Chibuzo Obirike reports.
Speaking to ABS immediately after a holy mass in honor of the fallen senator, the Deputy General Overseer of the club, Mr. Sunday Elijah, said the club visited Ojoto, the senator's country home, to honor him for massively engaging in human capacity development and contributing to the growth of humanity. He disclosed that most of the members of the club, who are international business executives, met while working in different capacities as Senator Annie Okonkwo's group of companies, stating that the club has grown to attract members from all walks of life, including politicians, businessmen and women, among other professionals.
He was a great mentor to us, a motivator, a builder. He was the man who has encouraged all of us, who has given most of us hope to have continued up to now.
Some was laid in Annie Okonkwo's company, you understand? But now we have taken it to the next level. What happened has happened. Those we left behind, God will give them the fortitude to their daily life. And we also, that we have touched, give us with God will also give us the fortitude to their daily life.
Another member of the club, Barrister Tahil Ochi, described the deceased as a businessman par excellence who came, saw and conquered, saying that the club and its members would miss his quality advice and guidance.
The training we got from him will not go in vain. We are going to transfer back to what he has given to us, to his children. So we are praying that there will be unity. They will continue with the way our chairman did. And they are a very peaceful group.
Also speaking, the public relation officer of the club, Mr. Ama A. Ama, and engineer Okechukwu Iboneku, prayed that God Almighty will grant his family, community, Anambra and Nigeria in general the fortitude to bear the loss, and urged the gathering to imbibe the former senator's generous lifestyle that made his community Christen him.
The driving force of this club came from that source, and the motivation is also driven by what the senator had been doing as a motivator on human beings and one who encourages human capacity development.
In his appreciation message, the first son of the deceased, Mr. Uche Okonkwo, who is the member representing Idemili North and South Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, said his father left a legacy of goodwill among his people and friends and expressed his heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the Okonkwo's family. Dignitaries at the funeral mass include the Senate President, Dr. Goswell Akpabio, Governor Chukwuma Soludo, his Abia State counterpart, Dr. Alex Oti, and the former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi.
And that's just about it on the news this morning. But before we go, a quick reminder that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page. Follow us at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Orca, and on Twitter at ABS Radio TV. You can also follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now the main point again. Anambra State government is to build a police camp base at Isofia Agota Council area. Building collapse has claimed the 3 lives in Newi. Federal government has called for collective effort towards school security. And we also told you on the foreign scene that Australia is to send more police to Solomon Island to boost security. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and the promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the tax ahead. That's it on the news at 7. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Chidimma Orangwa. Good morning.